Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the Climbing with Jimmy Chin. Really cool way to share content. It's not text, it's not video, it moves, it's something different and immersive and cool. Um, Again, another factor kind of special with newspapers is interpreting the relative placement of stories. That's something that I'm going to ask you to do on Padlet this week as one of your assignments. Okay. This is typical newspaper page layout. Newspaper, the Daily Mass Communicator. It's a good way to refer to newspapers. Another key element regarding history and development of newspapers, well, let's say also why they're so special, is that the press is referred to in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, in the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Here actually is the First Amendment to the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right to the people to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Freedom of the press. Why was that so important to the founding fathers that they made it part of the first addition to the Constitution? Because they knew that there needed to be a whistleblower, that if there wasn't an avenue for people to question and probe their government and make that information that they get as the result of that questioning and probing public, that there were opportunities for corruption and dishonesty within the powerful government. The press was to be free and not censored in the United States as a balancing factor against the power of government. Freedom of speech, as you see, also is mentioned in the First Amendment. So I'm actually going to do a little side trip here and talk about that freedom of speech is an issue that we will get into later in this course, particularly as regards social networks, where there is no real editing factor in terms of what goes in the medium. And content is crowdsourced, meaning anybody can put anything they want on the wall, so to speak. And that this has led to dangerous speech, in my opinion. We are free to speak unless doing so, unless what we say causes imminent danger. And this is the old, yelling fire in a crowded theater. You can't do that. You also can't say things, publish things that can create a danger. And again, there's a lot of debate now whether Facebook and some other social media, Instagram, Twitter, have gone too far in the freedom of speech. But I'm getting a little off on the side a little bit here. I did so because we went and looked at the First Amendment and two very important issues for us as we study media are, first, the freedom of the press, which is promised in this amendment, and second, freedom of speech, which has come to the fore lately with social media in particular. Okay. freedom of the press. So I just want to, why do we have this picture? I have a picture of a press because they mentioned the press. Because the press meant newspapers that were printed on a press. And that's what the mass medium was then. And as I said, for decades, and freedom of the press, and reporters are still referred to as the press. Even TV reporters and radio reporters and web reporters are referred to as the press. Why? Because the first reporters represented newspapers printed on a printing press. So the word press means reporter now. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and then we're going to start with the history and the development of newspapers. And I'm going to pull, of course, from the book quite a bit on this, in addition to a lot of things I've done and researched on my own.